Good morning, cowboys, cowgirls, and outlaws. Welcome to the Slick Sixguns Network Facebook page. If you guys are tuning in here from anywhere, feel free to check in with me. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to go ahead and sign in. Let's see who we get viewing before we get started. We got some interesting topics to talk about today, so it's going to be very fun. I just want to go ahead and get out a few things before we get started. The first thing is make sure that you guys got your cup of coffee, as this is coffee time with Slick Sixguns, your favorite YouTuber, and we are going to go ahead and talk about a lot of topics. So, good evening, good morning, and good day, or good night to some of you. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. If you want to, feel free to get out your alcoholic beverage or your beverage of choice, or your coffee if you're getting up in the morning. Have a drink with me. This is your time to socialize with me, get to know me a little bit more. As always, this is the purpose of those live streams. So I just want to let you know that this is meant for you to get to know me. And before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give a few shout outs to some of the people in this live stream right now. We got Peter, good morning, Brad, Cletus, Patricia, Ivar, Carmen, good morning. Thank you for watching, and I hope you stay tuned all the way to the end of this video. And I hope you've been paying attention to the topic for today, and I hope it is something of interest. So Cletus says, good Wednesday morning, Six Guns. Oh, good morning to you too as well. Please let me know in the comment section where you are watching this video from. I would love to hear it. Do not tell me your exact address. I do not really need that. Just let me know city, state, or country. And as always, I am live streaming from the great state of... Can anyone guess it? I'm waiting. Texas. Okay, so no one answered that. That's fine, but just kind of a short quiz for you to get to know me. If you guys haven't been paying attention to my live streams, I am broadcasting from Texas live, and it's a great state. It's a great day to be a Texan, even if you aren't a Texan. As I always say, it is a state of mind. Anyway, Cletus says he's watching from Sulphur Springs, Texas. Thank you, fellow Texan. I'm glad you're tuning into this channel. So a few more things to get out. First things, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that this is not meant to be a historical video. This is not meant to be a educational video. This is more or less meant to be a showcase and get to know me. That's all it is. So if I spew out historical facts or anything that has to do with the piece of equipment I'm talking about, and it isn't exactly on point 100%, this is a live stream. Relax. Some people make mistakes, just like everyone does. But feel free to correct me in the comment section. I got thick skin, so I should be all right with that. For the most part, this is just a showcasing video. In other news, keep in mind that you guys need to stay safe out there. I know that there's a lot of craziness in the world going on right now, and although we are a non-political channel, this is meant to, I want to make sure my viewers are safe. So make sure that you're abiding by your local laws and you're taking care of your family members. Most importantly, taking care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, then who else is going to do that for you? So that's all I'm going to say about that. Welcome to the channel, and thank you, and I hope everyone is okay, because I do care about you whether you think so or not. Moving on to other news, I would like to give a shout out to some of my supporters real quick. If you are watching, say hello to Alamo Knife Works for me, who has provided me with so much content pertaining to knives. You can always watch my knife videos on my YouTube channel. Alamo Knife Works is stationed here here in Texas. In all my knife videos, I have a link to their Facebook page. Feel free to give them a check out, give them a shout out, and by all means, check them out. If you feel so inclined, please buy one of their knives. They got some good quality knives. You can see some of the types of knives that I showcase in my YouTube channel. Just go check it out here right after this. Next thing I would like to give a shout out is I'd love to give a shout out to Charlie's Front Porch Gunsmith. If you are watching, thank you for giving me all the content that you have been supplying to me over the last 2 years. Charlie's Front Porch Gunsmith is definitely a great business. They, do a lot of gunsmithing tasks for a lot of people within my community, and he's a hard worker. He's a great worker. He supports the channel in every possible way, and he's a good friend of mine. Go ahead and check him out in the Facebook page, as well as any description of my YouTube channel videos. I go ahead and mention him, and there's a link directly to his Facebook page. Please give him a like, and if you need some help on working on any of your guns, by all means, let him know. He's always looking for new people to service. That being said, I also, mind you, I do a lot of my content on YouTube strictly just for the sheer fact of I love to do it. Is the reason why it is because I love educating people. But if you feel so inclined, it is up to you 100%. I'm not at all advocating that you have to. Go over to my Patreon account. Click on the, there's a link for that in any of my YouTube videos, and you can go ahead and contribute as little as $1 a month, and you can get certain benefits from me. You can recommend content, you can get individual live streams from me, you can also see me shoot something on camera that you would love to see being shot. Mind you, it has to be within YouTube policies. And all around, it's just a good community system to be a part of because I'm all about the Western shooting sports. I'm all about helping people, and you can tune in and get that firsthand knowledge if you want it. That is up to you. Other than that, make sure that right after this video, you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of content on there. I've been doing content for just over 18 months, almost 2 years now, and I have well over 50 some odd videos on my YouTube channel. Go to Slick Sixguns Network, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure that you hit that notifications bell because you never know, you may not get a notification from YouTube itself. Regardless, it's a good channel. I like it, obviously. You should like it because there's a lot of great technical advice that I give. There's also a lot of other showcasing things that I do and a lot of good gun reviews for those of you that have questions. Mind you, I'm not the fastest person in the Western shooting sports. I do not say that I am. There are plenty of other people that are faster than me. However, I do love the sport and I love to educate people, and that's why I do this. Aside from that, let's go ahead and get into the actual content of this channel. So make sure you're drinking your coffee with me and enjoying. Feel free to ask me any questions as we are moving right along. Let me know what type of coffee you're drinking in the comments section. If you haven't already done so, I'll give a shout out to a few people here in a little bit. But today, what are we going to be talking about? Well, if you've been paying attention at all to any of my live streams, I like to put in the title what we are discussing. We are going to be discussing none other than the Mosin Nagant. And I have one right here. Let me go ahead and show you that the action is open and safe. Alright, nothing is in the chamber, nothing is on the magazine, nothing is on the bolt. You are good to go. Alright, so this is my Mosin Nagant, courtesy of Charlie's Front Porch Gunsmith. He actually did a little bit of work on this. This is a sporterized version of the Mosin Nagant. Notice how the wood is absolutely amazing. It isn't an old battle rifle that has been beat up. This is what we would call a 9130, which was made during the 1930s. And are these legal in the Western shooting sports? Yes. And here's why. The original design came out prior to 1900, and a lot of the long distance matches also incorporate what's called bolt action military rifles. The Mosin Nagant is definitely one of those classes. You're talking about your Mausers, you're talking about your Krags, you're talking about your Mosins, and also on occasion I see the K31s, even though those came later. But yes, Mosin Nagants are authorized in the Western shooting sports on a club-by-club basis. There is not an official category for it, to my knowledge. On a club-by-club basis, they call it the bolt-action military rifle, but I don't know if it's officially sanctioned by SAS, but it is allowed, just because a lot of these bolt-action rifles came out prior to the turn of the century, regardless of what version they are. As I said, this is a 9130. I'm going to go ahead and show you. It has been sporterized, new butt plate, high gloss finish on the wood stock. It's got the traditional bolt. Nothing's been changed with that. The 9130 typical rounding of the chamber. which some of them were hexagonal, especially the finish types. You got the rear sight here, which says it's marked up to 2,000 yards. So if I put it all the way up there, boy, talk about major volley fire. But it's a good, strong rear sight. Moving on down, this rifle is extremely long. I might as well call it my musket, even though it's not a musket. Anyway, here you go. And it's got a muzzle brake on it. That was added. None of the original Mosins came with that. That's just something that was put on. But as I said, this is a sporterized version meant to be more of a hunting rifle than anything else. But you know what? It's still a Mosin for the sheer fact of its design. And yes, for the most part, any type of Mosin would be allowed in the Western shooting sports in the bolt-action military rifle class. It's got the typical 5-shot magazine on it, non-detachable here at the bottom. Lucas says that's a beautiful grain pattern on that stock. Yes, it was finished by Charlie's Front Porch Gunsmith. You can always check them out in the description of my videos. He did an excellent job with this rifle. That's the #1 reason why I bought it, because I always wanted a Mosin. Granted, you can get them for relatively cheap, just because there was a huge surplus of them after World War II. You know, you don't really hear about them being sporterized that much. I mean, I've heard a lot of Krags getting sporterized, but for Mosins to be sporterized, you don't really hear about it too often. And so it was kind of unique to come across this. And I got this at a relatively good price from my good buddy of mine. And, you know, Charlie's Front Porch. And she's got a good finish on her. So thank you. And yes, I'd have to agree, they are extremely tough and a robust rifle. Not going to say they're the best rifle. That can be an opinion. You know, there's a lot of different opinions out there. But, you know, say it was meant originally as a service rifle. They designed it to be beat up, as with all service rifles are designed to be. You know, you can say that for any bolt-action military rifle. Okay. But, yep. This is the 9130 version. There are other versions like the finished Mausers that you can see. Feel free to ask me your questions as we're going through this about this rifle. You know, the bore is clean. It's really awesome. I haven't used it in competition, but I've gone out and shot it, and it shoots great. You know, just like any other rifle. It's extremely long and hefty. I do not have the bayonet for it, so don't ask. You know, but they're pretty awesome. So go ahead and ask me your questions of this rifle, Western Shooting Sports, of me, before we, you know, close out another session of the live stream. But I'm all ears. And if you're asking if I have a lot of guns, yes, I do. I have a lot of guns to help create content, as well as I am a bit of a collector. For those of you that don't know, if you get involved in any type of shooting sport, mind you, this is an opinion of mine, you automatically kind of become a collector because you're going to want certain things. You're going to want certain things. Lucas says, does it have a year stamped on the receiver? 1938. So yes, it does. There you go. And it says model 9130 on it. Cleta says, I bought mine when I was a sophomore in high school in 1967 at Texas Army Navy store in Dallas, Texas. My question is, how much did it cost? Was it under $200? You know, I know some of them probably went for well under $100, depending on, obviously, the year you bought them in. Now you're lucky to find them under $300. You know, $300 or $400 sometimes. But yep, that's one of the advantages of these rifles. You can get them for relatively cheap, even nowadays. So I haven't done a review on this rifle. I haven't, oh wow, Cletus says for $16.50 in 1967. And boy, this is where I sit there and say I feel extremely young, and that's awesome. But I'm sure, obviously, that was probably even more expensive for the time. You know, obviously due to inflation and all that stuff, but still cheap by obviously today's standards. You know, that's cool. Good to know. I didn't pay $16.50 for this. Just letting everyone know. Anyway, any other questions that I have before we sign off for today? As I said, I haven't done any YouTube videos on this one, so I don't have any on my channel. You can bet that I will eventually, because it is having to do with the Western shooting sports. I'll just go ahead and showcase this one more time. Going from the butt plate. All the way to the stock and the tang. Looking at the bolt. The magazine. The trigger. Moving on down to the forend and the rear sight. And obviously it is outfitted to have the slings mounted. But I do not have the sling. Actually, you know what? I do. I just didn't put it on. Cletus says, nice rifle. Thank you. Marshall, thank you for tuning in. You know, brother-in-law, good to hear from you. If you have any questions, we're just about to sign off here soon, but we're showing a Mosin Nagant 9130 model. Feel free to check it out on the replay or ask me any questions in the comment section. Other than that, everyone else, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed your coffee, and I will be seeing you next time.